Saturday afternoon, Panthers at the Buccaneers, the NFC South potentially on the line, right? Because as we laid out last segment, if the Buccaneers win and then the Falcons win, the Panthers still win the division. But it's simple for Carolina. They win, their division champions. And right now, this line is between 2.5 and 3 on BetMGM. The Buccaneers are a field goal favorite despite losing 7 of their last 8 games. The total is 43.5. Brad, who are you rolling with in this one? Carolina won the previous meeting 2 weeks ago, 23-20. Buccaneers are favored. Baker Mayfield dealing with some injuries. Who do you like tomorrow evening?
Yeah, I don't trust the Bucs. I got to roll with the Carolina Panthers. In that first matchup, Bryce Young had not 1, not 2, but 3 passing touchdowns. And, of course, I took the over immediately when open at BetMGM on 1.5 passing touchdowns at a plus 125. Pat rolling the shoulders and getting seduced by the juice on that wager. Again, Tampa has a sickly defense right now, whether in the trenches, yes, even with a healthy Vita Vea, or on the back end where they are down some key figures and key bodies. Ted McMillan should go out and have a downright decent game in this one. Maybe get an X factor like a Xavier Legette. Maybe one of the tight ends. Somebody's going to go out there and ball out in that receiving core for the Panthers and get that 1-2 punch to the ground. And Rico Arena Dowdle, and who has been a breakout sensation this season. And Chuba Hubbard's been around the ball fairly well as a change of pace option here last, 3 or 4 games. And, you got to account for Bryce Young's opportunistic legs as well. I think this boils down to whoever plays just average defense. That's all we're asking. We just need a C level of defense. They do that with the offensive firepower that both possess. And whoever, accomplishes that C level defense will triumph in the end. I think it's going to be the Carolina Panthers. So I'll roll with the representatives from Charlotte. But my favorite player prop in this one is Baker, the touchdown maker, not though scoring a touchdown, but racking the yards with those legs. I took the over on 15.5 rush yards immediately when it opened. Very good opportunistic runner. He's averaging 6.9 yards per carry this season. He had 49 rush yards in that Week 16 matchup against the Panthers. He's gone over this prop 9 times this season. And I know Carolina's allowed the 5th fewest rush yards to the quarterback position in the league because they had the lowest pocket percentage pressure rate of anybody in the NFL, but Baker's going to put out on the line and a guy that definitely reads, reacts, and often calls his own number. So, again, love me some Bryce Young on the over 1.5 passing touchdowns at plus money, and definitely love the over on Baker Mayfield, 15.5 rush yards, and I do believe as well Carolina marches on.
Yeah, just really quickly before I give out my favorite plays for this game, injury reports and a couple of key nuggets and notes that I think are worthy. You mentioned it before. Not only has this Buccaneers defense been reeling, right? They let Quinn Ewers dice them up last week with the Miami Dolphins. Their secondary is now banged up. Jamel Dean is out for this game. Their number 1 corner, not going to play. Their number 2 corner, Zion McCollum, has been on injured reserve. And so it's a secondary that has struggled to stop the passing attack. And now they are down their top 2 corners. Offensively for Tampa Bay, nobody is actually on the injury report right now. Baker Mayfield was on it earlier this week with a knee and shoulder injuries. Remember, he sprained his left shoulder in that blowout loss to the Rams on Sunday Night Football. And I think that's a big reason why he hasn't looked the same since. He also is apparently dealing with a knee injury. I think Baker's nowhere near 100%. And I really like Carolina because of that. If this was the first 6-7 weeks of the season of Baker Mayfield, I think it's a different story. But it's clear that this is not the first 6-7 weeks of the season in terms of Baker Mayfield or this Bucs defense. And I think it is way too misinformed to just expect them after they have been, like I said, they've lost 7 out of their last 8, to then just pull it out of the fire here when they've been playing with their season on the line for the last couple of weeks. They had a chance to maybe wrap this division up when they played Carolina a couple of weeks ago and had a good lead in the first half and then couldn't do anything offensively in the second half. Baker's been a turnover machine. He's got the happy feet in the pocket. They haven't been able to run the ball. Bucky Irving, what do you have, 4 carries for 9 yards or 9 carries for 19 yards last week?
Yep.
It's unreal. It's unreal. So I really like Carolina here. And here's some notes and nuggets for you. Baker Mayfield, like if you think home field advantage is a big thing, how about this? For Baker Mayfield at home, he is 22, 36, and 1 against the spread. Do you know, Brad Evans, do you know who the only quarterback in the last 20 years who is worse against the spread at home? That would be Jay Cutler.
Oh, yeah, of course. Naturally. Smoking Jay Cutler.
Yeah. The great Jay Cutler. And here's another note and nugget for you. In case it feels like Carolina plays up to the competition, they do. They've won 8 games. All 8 of their games this year has come as an underdog. They've only been favored in 2. They lost both of them. The Panthers have a chance to break the record for most wins as an underdog in a single season in NFL history. And I got one more for you. The Panthers, after a loss, they are 7-0 against the spread, and they're covering by an average of 12 points. I like the Panthers because the data is on my side. I like the Panthers because of the eye test, because the Buccaneers have just been pathetic lately on both sides of the ball. I don't think Baker's 100%. Give me the Panthers +3, which you can get right now on BetMGM. Yep. I'm honestly kind of stunned, and I'm not going to overthink it, Brad. I'm kind of stunned that this is actually back at a field goal after it went under. +3 at -120 right now at BetMGM. I like the Panthers. And then I know you've been in love with T-Mac. I'm rolling with Tetero and McMillan because the Buccaneers secondary is all banged up. Give me T-Mac over 59.5 yards. He had over 70 the last time these two played. And I think Bryce Young is going to be looking for his number one option all game. So I like the Panthers +3. I like T-Mac over 59.5 yards. But I do like your play. Even if he's not 100%, you got to think Baker's season on the line. He's going to be trying to make plays happen if that protection breaks down with his legs. So I think this is a game that is ugly. It's 2 teams that are probably undeserving of being in the playoffs, but somebody has to win this freaking division, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And you're right, man. Baker Mayfield is an absolute gamer. He'll shock out a couple of beers and he'll go out there and ball out. That's what he does, man. The guy's an absolute joy. He's hilarious. He's a genius oftentimes on the field. He's going to read, react. He's going to tuck and run. He may be lumbering on those situations, but the guy's as tough as nails. He'll absorb a lot of really deadly hits. And take a licking and keep on ticking. So yeah, I think you and I are very much in agreement. You would take Panthers +3. I'm just gonna take them outright. They're gonna win this game on the road there against Tampa, and I think Bryce Young may silence some of the critics out there. My hand is firmly raised. I have doubted him repeatedly here these last couple of seasons, but could really body slam my point of view and be like, hey, man, I can be a competent quarterback. I can be a leader. I can win in these high pressure situations. He has zero excuse not to absolutely go off considering the absent people in that secondary. You mentioned McCollum and Jamel Dean. If you look at the Pro Football Focus ratings, he was a guy that was top 10 in pass coverage grade pretty much the entire season. So that is a death knell. That is an irrecoverable blow in my mind. So, yeah, I think Carolina's got to have a lot of success vertically, and that's only going to help, really open up the run for them. And Rico Dowdle will probably punch one in for 6. So maybe look at him in the anytime touchdown market.
Yeah, and that's a huge talking point that you mentioned, right? Like, Baker's not going anywhere no matter how this season plays out for Tampa. If they win or lose this game, I highly, 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 highly doubt that they are going to fire Todd Bowles if they lose this game. They've got the injuries as an excuse, even though it's a pretty pathetic collapse, all things considered. I don't think there's a regime change coming here in Tampa Bay. And not that there's one coming in Carolina, but like this is like, here's the fork in the road for Bryce Young, right? Had about as brutal of a start to his career as you could ask for. Literally gets benched last year after the first couple of games, and the Red Rifle Andy Dalton takes over. And then maybe only because of a car accident that broke Andy Dalton's thumb, Bryce Young gets his job back and then played pretty freaking well, especially down the stretch. Once they were eliminated, he was throwing for like 250 yards a game, keeping games close against the Chiefs, against the playoff teams week after week. And then this year, it's been up and down, Jekyll and Hyde. 1 week, Bryce Young, remember, he threw for a franchise record 470 yards. And then another game, he throws for 125 or 150. Can't make the big throws. They're not even throwing the ball more than 5 yards down the field. Like, this is kind of it for Bryce Young in terms of, like, yeah, the number one pick actually did pay off for Carolina. They're in the playoffs. He is the guy that is the franchise quarterback. Dave Canales, hell of a head coach. Or it's, okay, Carolina got 1 game away, and if they lose because Bryce Young underperforms, then it's like, do they need to change a quarterback? Do they need to start thinking about somebody else to play under center here? Because it's all been right there for them to win this division, a mediocre division where, literally 9 wins is most likely going to win it for you here. 9 wins will win it for you if Carolina wins it. This is a big legacy-defining game early on in his career for Bryce Young. And then one other quick point here, Brad. I know we try to give Week 18 incentives, right? And not that there's you can really make an argument for a lot of incentives in a game where the playoff spot on the line, but it's still worth mentioning from my research, Rico Dowdle, he needs 7 scrimmage yards for $1 million. Probably going to get 7 scrimmage yards regardless, but yeah, that's to keep an eye out on.
Yeah.
And then Rico can get an extra $250,000 if he scores a touchdown. So again, both of these teams are just looking to win the freaking game regardless, but you do have a little extra financial incentives on the board as well.